Hey everyone, thanks for visiting my newsletter for January. I'm Angela Dacey, helping you live life colorfully. And today I'm now sitting with another amazing colorful expert, Dr. Joe Piazza from the Phoenix Network Care in Aurora. And this man is a wealth of information and knowledge, and 10 minutes is not going to cut it, but we're going to bring you as much as we possibly can in that amount of time so that you can start this new year off on the right foot. So welcome, Joe.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's awesome. I'm really excited about this.
So give us just a little rundown of what we're going to teach today so that they can walk away with something after this video.
Great. So our theme for the new year is about creating sustainable transformation. It's kind of a big energy that's out there in our society right now. So I wanted to share a sort of a formula that people could take and apply in their lives to create the sustainable transformation, the changes they really want to make in their life.
And especially 2012, here it is. Yeah. So now is the time. There's no more excuses, no more waiting. The change happens now. So.
We're all responsible for creating our own lives. So let's get to it.
That's a hard one for a lot of people.
For a lot of people, it is.
So repeat that one more time for the people.
We are all responsible for creating our own lives. And yes, that is a difficult one for a lot of people.
It is. Sure. So give us the rundown of what we said, 4 keys?
4 keys, basically. So we start with one of the tools that we normally use here in our office to help people really start to create change in their life. And we call it A cubed or AAA. Okay. So there's 3 A's. The first 3 is awareness. So becoming aware of what's going on in your life, the stories that are playing out in your head, the habits that you do, the habitual thinking that you do, the habitual structures that you create in your life, the habitual behaviors you do. Right. Because if we're not aware of these habits, how are we going to change them?
So true.
Right? So we have to start paying more attention to what's going on in our life. Okay. The second one is acknowledgement. You like that one?
It's a good one.
It's a good one. So acknowledging that we have created all of the situations of our life on every level. I don't know if you're aware of this. Experts estimate that, experts in communications estimate that we have somewhere on the order of 80 to 90,000 thoughts a day.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And if we remember that we apparently only use about 10% of our brain consciously, that means only about 8,000 or 9,000 thoughts are conscious. That means we're having about 80,000 thoughts to 70,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day unconsciously, happening below our level of awareness.
Wow.
So what kind of self-talk is happening in our brains?
Right.
So if we can start to become more aware of that self-talk, we can start to change more.
Awesome.
Of what's going on in our life.
So how would you describe acknowledging? So if I have an awareness, like if I say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just beat myself up over this again, how do I acknowledge that?
Basically, a simple way of acknowledging it is just saying, I am that. I think it's a Buddhist way of approaching life. Anything that comes to our, Dr. Joe Vitale talked about this a lot as well in the book Zero Limits. I don't know if you've read that one. And basically, it comes from the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono that we are responsible for everything we create in our lives. And when we acknowledge that, it no longer has the power to affect us.
That's a powerful point.
It's very powerful. So basically saying that I am that. If it's come to my attention, that then I've played a part in creating it, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, with my thoughts, the emotions that I hold in my body, the way I treat people, the way I walk around in life.
Okay, so we have awareness and we have acknowledge.
Yep.
The third one is?
The third one is acceptance.
Acceptance.
That's
even harder.
Even harder than the acknowledgement for a lot of people, because it does involve forgiveness. Not only of others, but of ourselves. You mentioned about beating yourself up after stuff goes on, and this is what most of us do in our life. And if we can just accept that through the awareness and acknowledgement that we have created our life the way it is to this point, but that we can create something different as well. It doesn't have to be the same as it's always been. Okay. And then that kind of sets us free.
I was just going to say, that is freedom.
It's total freedom, because we can't go back and change yesterday because yesterday's gone. We can't yet worry about tomorrow because it hasn't happened yet. We only have right now in which to begin. So start from where you're at, right? What's that saying? The longest journey, journey of 1,000 steps begins with 1 step.
That's so true.
So we can only start from where we're at.
Okay. And actually being in January for 2012, this is the 1-step month.
Exactly. 1 step. We taught, we also in the office, we even talk about micro actions, which leads me to actually the fourth part of the formula of creating sustainable transformation in your life is taking action. So it's great to have all the awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance in your life. That's great, but what do you do with it?
Yeah, and if you're not going to do anything with it, you're not making change.
It's just information.
Right.
It's not knowledge. Knowledge and wisdom is taking what we've learned and using it.
Wow.
Whereas information is just a whole bunch of facts and stuff.
Amazing. So we have awareness, acknowledge,
acceptance,
and
then action. And that's going to lead, and that will equal results and transformation.
Incredible. So how, with what you do, because chiropractic care, once we started talking, this man blew my mind because he's not just chiropractic care. So how is it what you do through the network care, which is almost to me another like an advanced level of chiropractic, if you can even call it chiropractic anymore. But how do you bring that in so people can create that action and start making those changes?
Right. So network spinal care or network spinal analysis, network chiropractic, it goes by all those names, is basically, it started in chiropractic by Dr. Donald Epstein around the early 80s, like 80, 81. And and we affectionately call him Donnie. So what Donnie was looking for was, because he had been trained in some other chiropractic techniques that are very gentle and use very few adjustments. And his goal was, how can I make the biggest impact for a person in their life by using the least amount of force and the fewest number of contacts?
Ooh, which everybody will like
Which everybody loves, right? So he started playing, and he ended up pulling pieces from all the different chiropractic techniques. So that's why it's called network. It's a network of techniques. And they've now, over the last 30 years, been refined and blended into one whole technique called network care.
Amazing.
Basically, the way it works is that we connect with where you're at. Everybody has some openness and flexibility and peace and ease in their being, in their physical body, in their emotions, in their mind. We want to connect with that. Let's connect with what's already working.
That makes a lot of sense. So if somebody comes to you in distress or even emotional distress,
absolutely,
you're right, there's still a piece of peace inside somewhere. That's a good thing to remember when you're going through tough times.
And if anybody out there is law of attraction followers or really works with that, we know that what we put our focus on expands. So traditional chiropractic focuses on finding those stuck areas where the body's defending itself. And imagine how much energy it takes to defend yourself. And how much energy is it going to take to get that to open up?
Oh, good point.
Lots, right? Whereas if we can find an area in the body that's already open, and has some peace and ease in it, that's either connected either directly or indirectly to that stuck spot. The body's not investing itself in defending itself here. We can do a very light, gentle touch, just like that. So the body basically saying, hey, check this out. The body goes, hey, I'm not defending myself. I'm peace and ease here. I know what this feels like. I'm going to make this feel the same way. And it starts to do this on its own. And all that energy that we had tied up in defending ourselves, our story of our life, of the emotions that we've held on to because somebody hurt us 30 years ago and we're still mad at them, or because my father didn't love me, or I'm afraid of success because my parents might resent that, whatever. That's a little bit more esoteric, but that all results in physical pains in our body as well. So as all that energy starts to dissipate, it's now free to create healing in the body. The body doesn't have to use the energy to defend itself, it can use it elsewhere.
But that it almost sounds too simple.
The greatest miracles in life usually are that simple.
True enough,
right? It's our brain, our educated mind is what makes things complicated. Amazing. Our innate intelligence, the power that made our body, it didn't stop working the day we were born. It didn't even stop working the day those first two cells came together to make one, and then we started to grow from that. It's still inside of us working, and the power that made our body can heal our body.
That's amazing. So if somebody was to come in and see you at the Phoenix Network Care, if somebody's body's been like this for a really long time, how long does it take before you find the openings? Like, can it be a 1 session or is it more 10 sessions?
It depends. One, it's going to depend on, like you say, how long stuff has been going on. Two, really how attached are people to their stuff? Because some people, they're just ready for transformation. They're like ready to, hey, let's go. And we zoom through care. We also, then there's the people it's going to take even longer for whatever reason, because we still have stresses going on in our life. We still have stuff going on. We're human beings.
Yeah.
So we're still dealing with all the, not only are we dealing with the stuff that's coming up with us in the moment while you're here in the office, we're also dealing with all the other stuff that's still going on in our life.
So it sounds like if somebody was to come who was in like the stage 1 of awareness, they're going to be different than someone who's in the acceptance or the action stage.
Absolutely.
But I guess the key is to go through all 4 stages.
That's it exactly. And the cool part is it never ends. We can be in a place of acceptance in our life in one area of our life, and in a state of only beginning awareness in another area of our life. And we can cycle between each of those different seasons, if you will.
Okay.
At any time in our life. And when life becomes painful is when we try to be in a season that's not where we're being called to be. So for instance, if our life is calling us to discover something and become more aware of what's going on in our body, but we're trying to be in acceptance, or that enlightened, awakened place,
we're fighting it again.
We're fighting it against. We're fighting the flow, the rhythm of nature.
That makes sense.
And we are, as human beings, we are part of nature.
Right.
So we have the same rhythms.
I love that. So do people even need to know when they come here what they're coming for? Or do they just, I'm sure there's going to be some of you at home that just say, I need to see Dr. Joe, not even understanding why.
That's okay.
But it is.
Yeah.
But do you want them to have a sense of awareness first, or do you want them just to say, come and experience, and then allow the universal force just to work?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Some people have some awareness. They've been to a chiropractor before, so they might have some of that expectation, that experience, bringing it to it. There are people who I've had referred said, my friend told me I just need to come and see you, so I'm here. Okay. So that happens too, right? And then they have the experience and they're like, wow, now I know what they were talking about.
Nice.
So it really doesn't matter where you're at in your life. We can help you.
Well, that's all. I mean, you already explained so much in such a short time, and I think enough to give people a sense of this is what I need to do to move forward. I just want to mention, for Dr. Joe's sake, is that you also do a lot of informational seminars.
Yes.
So if this sounds interesting to you and you'd like to learn more, I mean, if you don't live in the area, you can always check out his website, which is at phoenixnetworkcare.com. You can check out his phone number there and give him a call. But if you do live in the area and you want to drive into Aurora, how often do you have your seminars that are free?
So I do a free intro talk the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
All those dates are all listed on my website as well.
Nice.
2012 is not quite up there yet because I'm just getting around to that, but the dates are all on my paper calendar. I haven't put them on the website yet. They should be up by the end of this week.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. This is January. They'll be up. Oh yeah, they'll be up well before Christmas.
We're videotaping a little early, but it's all good. So by the time you see this, the dates
will be up. Yes.
Excellent.
And for those of you who aren't in the Aurora, Newmarket, Northern Richmond Hill area, or even Orangeville and Markham, because I have people coming from all those places, Holland Landing, Bradford even. I'm also in the process of putting those at least one intro talk on the website so somebody can watch that as well, get more information. And if you'd like a referral to another practitioner,
nice.
I know all the network practitioners in Ontario, many of them in the US and also overseas. So if you know somebody somewhere else, give us a call, email us, whatever, we can help set you up with that too.
So for my clients that are all over North America, which we do have some.
Yeah, absolutely. We can probably find somebody. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And to me, this really feels like the next level of healthcare, because it's no longer just taking care of the physical. It's the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, as we talk about quite a bit on these videos, which is why I needed to bring you on as my other colorful expert for January to start us off.
Well, you can't separate the physical from the emotional, from the mental, from the spiritual. It's all part of who we are, and trying to improve one area and thinking it's not going to affect the other areas. And it's not even improvement. I don't even look at this as self-improvement. I look at this as growth and well-being rather than wellness. I like to be in an active state. Wellness is a static state, so I want to be moving. Yeah.
So no matter where you are on your journey, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, give Dr. Joe a call and see how he can help you move to the next level and really move through 2012 with health and abundance, well-being, happiness. Everything's going to come together, and definitely in this time of transition and change, that's what we're trying to do, I think, is field everything. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for being a part of my newsletter.
Absolutely.
I'm so blessed to know so many people that are a wealth of information. You can see how healthy I am, because I know all these people. So stay tuned for our next one in February. And until then, have a fantastic month. Thanks so much for joining this little blog and newsletter. Pass it on to your friends for me and have them sign up to my newsletter so that they can also receive these in their inbox monthly. Take care of yourself, live life colorfully, and until then, I'm Angela Dacey, and
I'm Dr. Joe Piazza. Have a great and happy new year in 2012.
Take care, everyone.